Hello, everybody. All right, let me say hi. And who do we got? Mindhack, Meatball, Nefertiti. Let me see. Hello, Tony C. Good evening. Nemesis and Hades. Hello. Hi, Me Brussels Project, Sunflower Toast, Racine, Soy Lodge. Hello. And let me see who else. Hello, Tiger Lily. I already said hi to Mindhack. And Gary Bellwood. And hello, Jay Snyder. And yep, I'm seeing repeat names, which is totally fine. I'm just trying to catch up. Hi, Ramalama. Hello, Dr. Carbo. And hello, Don Lambert. Petit Penguin, Ramalama. Okay, I think I'm all caught up. Hello. And I'm glad that you guys think that my chat is nice. So thank you. I appreciate it. Hi, AZ. I try to keep it low key in here, guys. Don't kick anybody out or anything like that unless they get wild. Hello, Lindsay. Cute dog in the picture. All right. So today we are getting. Hi, Gina G. Hello, my sweet Gina. So today we are going to talk about the politics and pornography and Wayne Williams, because there was a lot of politicking going on, you know what I mean? And it's pretty fascinating. I decided to go back through the old process records, their naturalization papers, and I didn't realize that you could click left or right and find more stuff, just like I did for Sam Carr, which I just sent to Virginia day before yesterday. Lucy and Greaves will be put on notice here pretty soon by her because she is documenting the inaccuracies in his timeline. And you guys see how intense her blog is. So it's going to be much worse than me. Good luck. But I'm going to go ahead and run the intro. Hi, P. Thomas. Hello. And I will BRB.
Throw my brothers inside of the bush so I don't get caught. Get a fuck around before I cock my hammer, unload the Glock. Coming out the pen, steadily moving weight, cause I hustle don't stop. I'm coming to win, and all of my niggas be gunning, shooting for the top. Inside of that cocaine beamer, pushing it up your lane. Didn't have no daddy, so my uncle made me soak up his game. I keep it 100, cause my word is born in the hood, it don't change. Coming up from nothing, hustling for my money, now I'm gripping grain. I'm beating it down your block, setting up another shop. Gotta watch out for these ops, for the block is fucking hot. Money inside my sock, watching all of my pictures fly. Nickeling down me busted, then I promise that your body drop. Bitch, I'm satchel chain, blowing brain, I do my thing, ho. Looking at the devil in his face, I'm just a psycho. Creeping on the come up, so you know I got my lines low. Talking all the hand up, but you gon' taste all this ammo. Bitch, I'm satchel chain, blowing brain, I do my thing, ho. Looking at the devil in his face, I'm just a psycho. Creeping on the come up, so you know I got my lines low. Talking all the hand up, but you gon' taste all this ammo. Coming up out the bushes with a red dot. I'm aiming to kill, pushing the pill with the steel. Put in my pocket, rocket to your grill. Fuck how you feel, bringing the ruckus, ain't no time to sleep. Ready, Google with no passion, slit your throat and let you bleed. You on gunplay? Let them guns spray. But I promise you that this ain't what you want, man. I'm off that Novocaine, smoking propane. Hit him in the fucking chest and see the blood drain. I'ma kick dope, broke me, want all the smoke. Kick into your mama house with my 44. Bullet shells kept dancing all on the floor. Bring me all the static, cause Gorilla wants some more. Bitch, I'm satchel chain, blowing brain, I do my thing, ho. Looking at the devil in his face, I'm just a psycho. Creeping on the come up, so you know I got my lines low. Talking all the hand up, but you gon' taste all this ammo. Bitch, I'm satchel chain, blowing brain, I do my thing, ho. Looking at the devil in his face, I'm just a psycho. Creeping on the come up, so you know I got my lines low. Talking all the hand up, but you gon' taste all this ammo.
Don't forget, we are out here fighting Demon Jaw, and the chat is moving. So let me say hi to everybody really quick. I guess this is a good time and a good day to stream. So hello, Joker, and let me see. Hello, Mandy D, and Carl Hassel. Hey, Carl. Hi, Desert Rain, and so many plants. It's like the garden center in here. Yeah, well, did you guys see the silly comment that was left? This has all been debunked. It's all been debunked, right? that they directed some, everybody to another channel. Okay, whatever you say, whatever you say. Hi, Samantha. And Wayne Williams is a weird guy. I don't think he's guilty of all the murders, but that he was involved. Yes, Sunflower Toast. He was definitely a weird dude. I'm not denying that at all. Definitely a weird guy. Wasn't acting like a typical serial killer, but he certainly was not normal. Damn, this is going to be in repeat in my head all day on extended tea break. Where are the demon sunglasses? Hi, Eshni. Hello. I haven't been able to find my sunglasses quite yet, so I figured, whatever. We're still out here fighting demons, you know what I mean? The guy who says there's no such thing as a satanic abuse, he crusades for the poor Satanist. Yeah, yeah, well, that's how it goes, right? They love saying that. They love touting those lines. And it's actually whatever. It's amusing to me, but also it's like, little lady doth protest just a little bit too much. Now, something that I wanted to start out with, because I don't know if people know, and I'm not assuming that anybody does. And thank you, Monica Brown. I appreciate that. Um, I wanted to show you guys an excerpt from, if you've been on my Twitter, you've seen part of this from a different book, but I found it from John Douglas himself. So if you guys have seen the show Mindhunter, that John Douglas, the behavioral science, right? Like, whatever, it's a joke. But I'm going to read you just a little bit from one page of his book that show is based off of. And don't you think it's kind of interesting that that show got canceled when it did? Just like, what was that show? Aquarius. Aquarius with the guy from the X-Files, David Duchovny. Ugh, what a hunk. But that show Aquarius literally got canceled when they got the call, like when they were, when the murders happened at Cielo Drive. Freaking love David Duchovny in that show. But anyways, I do want to read you guys this because I do think that it is very relevant, just so you guys can see what the FBI, the man that everybody knows, that people credit with so much, I mean, he's a bitch. I think John Douglas of the FBI is a complete bitch. Excuse my language, but I'm going to read it to you guys. So let's get this pulled up here. All right. There we go. All right, so this is page 238 of Mindhunter. So, on February 27th, 1982, after 11 hours of deliberation, the jury returned a guilty verdict in both murders. Wayne Williams was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms, which he is serving in the Valdosta Correctional Institution in South Georgia. He still maintains his innocence, and the controversy surrounding Williams has never died down or gone away. If he does ever manage to win a new trial, I am confident the result will be the same. Despite what his supporters maintain, I believe the forensic and behavioral evidence points conclusively to Wayne Williams as the killer of 11 young men in Atlanta. Despite what his detractors and accusers maintain, I believe there is no strong evidence linking him to all or even most of the deaths and disappearances of children in that city between 1979 and 1981. Despite what some people would like to believe, young black and white children continue to die mysteriously in Atlanta and other cities. We have an idea who did some of the others. It isn't a single offender, and the truth isn't pleasant. So far, though, there has been neither the evidence nor the public will to seek indictments. There's your FBI, ladies and gentlemen. There is your FBI that is, the creation of Mindhunter, the TV show. Hi, Corn Dev. Hello. And hi, Mr. Crow. There you go. There you go. That's from the horse's mouth himself, right? That's the FBI themselves. The FBI is full of BS. Okay, they are. And John Douglas is a bitch, in my opinion. However, I wanted to open up with that up front, just so the people that want to say, like, oh, Wayne Williams is guilty. John Douglas disagrees. John Douglas disagrees. So we're going to leave that there. Now, I want to show you guys a very interesting article that I found because we had talked about the stuff about the cults, right? And the porno ring. We're not going to get like too dark today, even though I did find photos of that house that Dave McGowan talks about in Program to Kill. I found photos, and it is extremely, extremely spooky. But I want to show you guys what the parents had to say, because honestly, at this point, I feel like the parents, their opinions are really the only ones that matter. Obviously, there are some parents that think that Wayne Williams was guilty, but more mothers than not don't think so. It is what it is. I know that it's difficult for some people to accept, but I'm just laying it out here because, these are the people that are impacted the most by these crimes, by this legacy of these crimes. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and get this open right here. So this is the Orlando Sentinel, 1984. Parents tie Atlanta deaths to porn ring. Now, I'm not going to read every single thing. However, the parents said that Wayne Williams, the 25-year-old black freelance photographer convicted in 1982 of killing two of the victims, did not act alone and was part of a larger circle, including a cop. So this is what they're charging here. Okay. The centerpiece of the parents' charges is an allegation that at least 10 of the victims were seen on a boat owned by the police official. Whoop, let me try to make this bigger. Glover, whose inner city district was the home of many of the victims, said a private investigator for the parents' group has found witnesses who have given sworn statements that the children were seen while the boat was moored on Lake Lanier, a popular resort lake an hour northwest of the city. Glover also said witnesses saw the police official near the home of a woman alleged to be involved in drug dealing and a pornography ring. Many of the victims frequented a popular disco nearby. Some were seen in the woman's home. PJ Lemuel, the group's private investigator, also said she has sworn statements from 6 parents who said the police official picked up their children or dropped them off at home before they were murdered. She said the children told their parents that the police official took them to the movies or fishing. I think that is extremely suspicious. And right here, I thought this was an interesting observation. There are 2 schools of thought among the mothers. The killings were part of some type of cult ritual gone awry, or the children were part of a pornography ring and were killed to keep them silent. The mother that they're talking about, Willie Lee Mathis's mother, believes the latter. And down here, Detlinger and Prue said that the police, the trial judge, prosecutors, and defense attorneys also knew that several of the murdered boys had sex with men other than Williams, a 63-year-old man who admitted having sex with Timothy Hill, a 13-year-old who was found murdered in March 1981, was never called to testify in the Williams case. 2 other boys, Luby Geeter, 14, and Earl Terrell, 10, often were seen entering the house of John Wilcoxon. We already talked about him, who was convicted of child molestation in 1981 and sentenced to 30 years in prison. This angle was not mentioned during the Williams trial. Wasn't even mentioned. Didn't even bring it up. So, something else that is interesting to consider, so it says in Macon, Georgia, that there were authorities that suspected 4 parents killed their children, but the parents were never charged. So they're not trying to pin everything on, the porno ring. There were so many angles that were not explored. But right here, all told, 63 cases could have fit the parameters used by the investigators in the case. 63. The list has 29. And over here, I'm not going to really read this, but this is just the same group saying that the trial and conviction was a whitewash and that they want the task force continued because they also believe that justice has not prevailed. And I could not agree more. Yes, Whitney Webb's book is very good. Here's my problem with Whitney Webb's book. She does not talk about RFK Jr. That's my problem. Makes you wonder why. Not judging anybody, not saying anything, but I am allowed to have my opinion. And I used to be a die-hard Whitney Webb fan, but seems like a pretty important thing to leave out. So all I will say is unlimited hangout indeed. Yeah, maybe that's why the is in parentheses, but I'm going to shut up. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the weird house, right? We're not going to read everything. I really want you guys to see the pictures though. So Dave McGowan is correct. When this was brought to the press in 1981, barely talked about, poo-pooed pretty quickly, and they just move on. I think it is completely bananas that they just blew this off. I think that it's really, really crazy that they completely blew this off. Let me see. We smell what you're stepping in. Yeah, well, you know, sorry. Nothing's off limits, right? Why are you going to protect that guy? Because eventually I'll come on and we'll talk about, because he ties into the Alex Jones Nation of Islam Scientology stuff, but we'll save that chestnut for another day. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the house right here. So this was the first article that I found. Abandoned house containing children's clothing, tools, Bibles, and smelled like decaying flesh. House and killings may be connected. Yeah. So, City Councilman Arthur Langford, a search organizer, said the old wooden house in the Adamsville section of southwest Atlanta was really strange. But he said that there was no firm indication that any of the four missing black children had been there. Okay. All right. No firm indication, right? And over here, I mean, these cops, man, I don't know. And I don't hate all cops, guys. Like straight up, I don't. I seriously, I don't buy into that. But that's why we called it politicking. I put politicking because we're gonna see the politics that play into this. But two rooms smelled like decaying flesh, and one had several mattresses in it. In one area of the house, two Bibles were nailed to a wall. And they found a pile of bricks in front of a fireplace in the rear of the house. After removing the bricks, they found a hole 10 to 15 feet deep. When we looked into it, all we could see was red dirt. One searcher said neighbors had reported seeing a black man and a black child using the house about 2 months ago. And they also found a axe hatchet in there and shovels. So isn't that lovely? Now, here's another one. Odor of death filled the house. So look at that. Dave McGowan didn't lie. Dave McGowan wasn't telling tales outside of school. Dave McGowan did a fantastic job. So the people out here that want to trash McGowan, well, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, but you can go F yourself, quite frankly. Now, there are some of the children's shoes and clothing that were discovered in the house. Yeah. Pretty crazy that they just blew this off. I think that it's real nuts. I think that it's real nuts that they just completely blew it off. And here are the Bibles. These are the actual Bibles. And look what the paper says. Oh, let me see if I can zoom in more. Sorry, guys. Bibles open to references about children and death are nailed to the wall of an abandoned house. Right? A little bit sus. A little bit sus. So, the two Bibles, both King James translations, were nailed to the wall with 4 nails driven into the upper center of each open page. The larger Bible is open to passages from Isaiah 1:14 to 3:25. The smaller was open to Jeremiah 15:4 to 18:4. Both sections made frequent references to children and death. Jeremiah 16:2 through 16:4 says, "Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have a son or daughter in this place. For thus saith the Lord concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth. And they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth." Okay. We don't think that maybe that has anything to do with anything at all? Yeah? We don't think that that has anything to do with anything. Okay. All right. Here's something else that's very interesting. So one of the volunteer searchers, she said the smell was similar to what she recalled from the area where the body of 7-year-old Latanya Wilson was found last October. Think that that's relevant? I do. I do. Something else. A striking similarity in all 11 slayings that has baffled investigators has been the placement of the bodies, which have all been discovered out in the open, unburied. Don Lakin, a tracker who has been working on the case for 8 weeks, said his 2 German shepherds had found the house, which had been converted from a church, 2 weeks ago, but he did not go on the property because it was posted. All right. Converted to a church, huh? Okay. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Obviously, the cops didn't care, right? Obviously, the cops literally didn't care. They didn't think that any of that was relevant, which is just completely nuts to me because I've never seen photos of those Bibles before or the house. So I'm like, huh. Not that I'm calling Dave McGowan a liar. I was just like, damn. I'm glad that somebody got pictures of it. You know what I mean? I want to look at the chat really quick. Really have to read PTK. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's a fantastic read. Let me see. I hitchhiked across the US twice in the 70s before I was 17. Much of the time I was alone. Well, Paul Kramer, you're braver than me. You're braver than me, my friend. And let me see. WTF, nothing to see here. Yeah, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Nope. Nothing suspicious at all. Completely normal. Completely normal. The smell of decaying flesh, Bibles nailed to the walls, random kids' clothing items. Totally fine. Totally fine. Everything is above board. Yeah. Like how caught Gacy because cop in the bathroom smelled dead bodies. Well, Gacy had a lot of political connections, as did Wayne Williams. As did Wayne Williams. Because I'm going to show you guys, and it might be a little bit more towards the end, depending on how we get through the information. But wouldn't you know it? One of Thevis's attorneys ends up defending Wayne Williams. It's maybe people don't see that as a conflict of interest. Yeah, but I'm also going to show you that one of Thevis's attorneys worked for the CIA. Yeah, because this dude did work for the CIA. So now I have Wayne Williams with, Apogee Studios and his band Gemini, and he's working there. And so he's connected to the Scarface of Porn, and the Scarface of Porn is literally connected to the CIA, blatantly. Tell me it's not a cover up. Tell me that it's not a cover up because this is completely ridiculous to me. Now, where do I want to start with this? Because we have so much to get through. So I'm going to show you guys because actually this was something that one of my Twitter followers found for me. And this is just to give you an idea because we talked about Thevis's original. They said he was an ideological rebel, right? And he was publishing weird, different theological books, right? And that's not a complete lie. The Godless Christians, I'm going to show you. But I'm also going to show you all of the other trash that he was publishing. And I'm going to say this right now for everybody. I don't debate about Kinsey, okay? People get real weird on Twitter about Kinsey with me. Not happening. Not happening. Okay? Not doing it. No thanks. So I'm not here to have the gender debate, gender theory, whatever. Don't care. Don't care. Go watch my Kinsey stuff. Go watch my Dr. Money stuff. Not happening. But let's go ahead and let's take a peek at what else Mr. Thevis was publishing. Yeah. Kinsey was a nonce indeed. So right over here, this is what one of my lovely Twitter followers found. So the Godless Christians. I actually think that this is the one that I cited from that article. Yeah. So M.G. Thevis, President and Distribution Director, Pendulum Books, right? Well, What else did Pendulum put out? The ABCs of Sex, a study of sex from crib to adulthood. Where is it available? Oh, the Kinsey Institute. Oh, all of these are available at the Kinsey Institute. Sex Before 12, Underage Perversions, Subteen Sex, a searing study of nymphid orgies, a girl's adventures in a boys' camp, erotica and the teenager, the teenage oral sex kick, and adventures in a house of pleasure, plus passionate girls and the Greek sodomite. Academic, yeah? That's what someone was trying to argue with me about, saying that I was burying the lead and, like, setting them up. Because it's academic. No, it's not. No, it's not. You could say that it is, but it's not. I hate to break it to you. Not really my problem, though. Let me see. Let me see. All right, we'll get to William's attorney. We'll get there. Let's go through because I want to talk about the guy from the UN, and I'm just going to show you a little part of an article. If you've been on my Twitter, you've already seen it, right? But this is in regards to the rumors that I showed last time about Jimmy Carter and the rumors when Thevis was in prison that he had donated money to the Carter campaign through Andrew Young, the UN ambassador and close personal friend and aide to Jimmy Carter, right? Well, it would turn out that Andrew Young is a dirty little liar. Yeah, which shouldn't surprise anybody. And eventually, as we like come back and kind of look through the history of all of this, because it is fascinating, we're not going to go super deep today, but they tried to make this a racial thing, and I had brought that up in my Willowbrook, Young Street, Atlanta episode, where when you look some of these things up, especially in Canada with like Young Street, it's like the first thing that pops up is like LGBT history, the power of the gay vote, the power of the black vote, black politics, this and that. Enough time has passed. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not here to talk about identity politics. I don't care. There are kids that are dead and justice hasn't been served. So take your nonsense elsewhere. That's all I got to say. Just take it elsewhere because it doesn't matter to me because it's all stupid. That stuff is stupid. Those days are done. Okay? Now, this is Mr. Andrew Young saying that it's a smear campaign as far as him helping Thevis. Young compared the Thevis incident to a whispering campaign directed by then FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover in the 1960s against Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Young was a King aide in the civil rights movement. Yeah. So it's sitting here, breaking down Thevis. He was a native of North Carolina, a kingpin of the pornography trade, and closely tied with organized crime families in New York and New Orleans. But because Andrew Young is a scumbag, Thevis, who is white, is also fondly remembered in Atlanta for his philanthropic work in the Black community. Okay, whatever you say. Now, right here, I think it's Marguerite Schott, a figure in Atlanta Democratic politics who helped arrange a luncheon between, Thevis's wife, and Young. Yep, so she said that she introduced Joan Thevis to Young, and that Young said to Mrs. Thevis, I think your husband got a bum rap. A bum rap, huh? You think so? Yeah. So down here, he didn't deny it. Mrs. Schott said that she, Miss Thevis, and Young subsequently met at Young's office in Atlanta on or about October 30th, 76? Yeah, 76. And that Young offered to help. Mrs. Schott flatly denied that there was ever any talk of money in return for Young's actions. Okay. All right. Well, whatever you say. He denies. I think it's really fascinating that right up here, they're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars being pumped into Carter's campaign. Seems kind of specific, don't you think? Seems a little specific. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of greenbacks, yeah? Now let me see the chat because I think that, Virginia popped in, so I would like to say hello and to everybody else, but, I gotta say hi to Virginia. Let me see, and oh, well, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, it's gross. I know. Kinsey's gross, but there's people that literally defend Kinsey. I have had people argue with me on Twitter for hours. And I know that I should be the bigger person and just not argue, but I'm like, no, no, no. You go learn today, okay? Like, you go learn today. But I know I can't change everybody's minds. And I'm not telling people what to believe, but it's like, come on, Kinsey was a pedophile. Okay, let me see. Hi, Virginia. And wait, wait, wait. Am I missing somebody? Sorry, guys. The chat's moving fast. Whole government is corrupt. Yes, yeah, well, absolutely it is. And you did beautiful work at how Jolly tried to stick brain chips into black kids. Yeah, well, he did. He did. He did. Because these are the, minorities are the communities that are targeted. And I'm not going to really get into the stuff with Mitch Warbell anytime soon because, I told you guys Program to Chill sent me Chet Detlinger's The List. And he said that he's got some stuff coming out about Mitch Warbell here soon. So, I want to give credit where it's due. I really like the guy. I respect his work. I'm a huge fan. Um, and so I want to see what he comes up with. And it may not have anything to do with Atlanta itself or, the Atlanta child murders, but, eventually we're going to come back to it because I mean, Mitch Warbell was training LaRouche's cult. Seriously. Because, I had somebody yesterday sit there and try to say that my thinking was wrong and that Mitch Warbell was a patriot. And I'm like, that's a bold claim. That's a bold claim. I take everything with a grain of salt, including LaRouche. I've already told you guys that. I am not a LaRoucheite. No one is immune to scrutiny, including me. Including me. But it's just, I don't know. I don't understand why people think that they can come in here and tell me what to think when I am very clear that I am not trying to tell you guys what to think. But I am absolutely allowed to have my opinion. You know what I mean? Andrew Crispo just died. Whoa. Well, give me a second, guys, because I'm learning this in real time. I'm not laughing about somebody dying. I'm just suddenly feeling very brazen about interrogating Mr. Zeman because he did put out the olive branch. And now that argument about Crispo, even though it wasn't valid anyway, now it's really not valid. Wow, that is crazy. So glad that you guys are on top of it. That is woo. All right. Well, that kind of threw me off for a second, guys. Give me a second. I'm a little verklempt. You know what I mean? That is wild. That's wild. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee and I'm gonna puff a smoke because that's, excuse my language, that's fucking crazy. Wow. Good looking out, Soil Lodge. Hey, Echo Cat. Good looking out. That's crazy. Andrew Crispo's dead, huh? That whole argument about like people being sued, because I said that I would come on and whatever. This is off topic for a second, guys, but about the Son of Sam stuff, because Mr. Grossman, even though he has not recanted his statements about Virginia or her blog, I don't need the apology or recantation, but she deserves it, and I will continue to ask for it. However, he had left a comment that I needed to come on and clarify what Mr. Zeman had said in regards to the reasons why Timo's book was edited. Okay. He gave a BS answer about lawsuits, which is BS. Because the Kindle version was still being pumped out. I think until like It was past 2000. Yeah. And who's gonna sue? And why didn't they sue when he was alive? But now Crispo's dead, so maybe I will interrogate him. Maybe that's what I'll do next. Hmm. I've been trying to avoid picking fights with the Satanists because I know that Virginia is working on that timeline, debunking Lucian Greaves, and I'm like, well, I know that I'm going to be getting into it with him over that, so I've been trying to wait. Now, let me see. Let me figure out where. I'm just going to show you guys a couple of articles that kind of point out in regards to Andrew Young, okay, as far as what the newspapers were saying. And then we're going to take a look at some of these very weird attorneys, because at least they make the argument even back then that it was, about race and politics, or ethnicity and politics. And at that time, whatever, I think the press is complicit in all of this type of corruption, quite frankly. I mean, we're going to see a very interesting article that uh, does not have the same opinion, but I put these two next to each other so that you guys can see what I would consider maybe some real journalism versus a bit of a distraction of a puff piece. Yeah. So, right here. So, over here, Black control of City Hall at stake in Atlanta. And there is Andrew Young. He looks like he's very, very mad. He's a very mad boy, right? But right there, talking about him resigning his congressional post in 77 to accept the UN post offered to him by fellow Georgian Jimmy Carter. He held the post for 2 stormy years, provoking a series of controversies. Yeah, I bet. But over here, Andy Young and Porno King Thievis, seal of the UN ambassador. Ooh, a little bit. It's a little rough, right? Why did official intercede? The seal of the president and the seal of the UN ambassador. I'm not going to sit here and read this, but there is one name that we are going to look at because this is the guy that we are going to talk about. I know that this article is very light. I'm sorry, I could not find a darker copy. But so Thievis, his quote unquote divorce lawyer, Warren Schulman. Okay. So that name right there, Schulman. That's who we're going to talk about right now. Because Mr. Schulman turns out that he worked for the CIA. And I think that he is a fascinating character. I want to look into him much more deeply at another time. I'm going to come back to him because love looking up some spooks, right? Some spooks. Love pulling them out of the closet. But let's go ahead and take a peek because I'm going to tell you guys right now the reason why I underlined the fireman stuff is because don't forget about Mr. Pimento. Yeah, our little Pimento boy. Yeah, I'm going to be coming back and looking at that angle too. Seems like there was a lot of hands in the pot here. So, Schulman, a secret agent conservative. So, he had 5 years as a CIA agent. And his legal activities on I like how they clarify his legal activities on behalf of convicted pornographer Mike Thievis. So Schulman was the attorney for the International Association of Firefighters, a union of white firemen which sued the city alleging reverse discrimination at the hands of Eves and Mayor Maynard Jackson's administration. You guys remember when when I showed you guys Pimento? And how they interviewed Wayne Williams about Pimento's involvement in the child murders and asked if he had a gripe against the city about his firefighting stuff. You guys remember that? Yeah? Okay. Now, I just thought that this was interesting because obviously the LaRouche cult had a lot of involvement with Teamster nonsense, the one time union lawyer who once said he would bargain with the Teamsters as representatives of the police so long as a no strike agreement was honored, now runs as a conservative Republican. Isn't that always how it goes, guys? And this is why I say politics isn't real. Politics isn't real, right? But there he is. Got to give the man credit. He's got a beautiful head of hair, right? Good head of hair. So right here. 1967, shortly after graduating from law school at the University of Georgia near the top of his class, Schulman joined the CIA as a staff officer. After training in Washington, he was posted to Hong Kong, where he served in clandestine operations and recruited agents, spies, in several countries in Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War. By 1972, Schulman was on the verge of going under deep cover for a permanent assignment in Mexico City. But his father, then in private law practice in Atlanta, suffered a mild heart attack, and Schulman, oh, you stop it, quit the CIA to join his father's firm. He didn't quit the CIA. That's like Hotel California, baby. You can go in, but you ain't never leaving. One of the firm's later clients, Thievis, has proven to be Schulman's biggest handicap in his mayor's race. In 1977, while Thievis was serving an 8.5 year sentence for arson, conspiracy, and interstate distribution of obscene materials, Schulman traveled to the South Pacific to set up a $300,000 trust for Thievis on an island known as a tax haven for wealthy investors. When Thievis later escaped from jail in 1978, the trust fund became a focus of interest for federal prosecutors. And Schulman appeared, sorry guys, Schulman appeared before a grand jury to answer questions about his role in setting it up. At one point, he was even threatened with indictment on unspecified charges by federal prosecutors he has since described as irresponsible. No evidence was ever presented that Schulman was involved in the escape, however, and Schulman has since argued vehemently that he simply acted as a savvy lawyer trying to shelter income for a wealthy client. Oh, is that the case? Or is it because you work for the CIA, bro? It's because you work for the CIA. That's literally why. Like, that's how you got away with that, was because you are literally a spook. Like, straight up. He is literally a spook. It's just the dumbest thing that I've ever read. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with people, man? Let me look at the chat really quick. All right, you guys are talking about all kinds of other stuff, so I'm not going to read everything. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't want to totally pull back. Dana and her Mike Myers impersonations are top notch. Well, thank you. And let me see, is the Crispo guy from the chapter in the first edition of The Ultimate Evil? He's also in the edition that I covered because I'm still working with Parker. Parker's still working on the editing, showing, not editing, but showing you guys what's missing. But that version, we talked about Crispo, right? And he's in that version too. I think that was like the 99 version. We'll be coming back to that. I'm just not putting a schedule on her. You know what I mean? I don't want to pressure her. Let me see. You can't sue for libel in the United States. Oh, that's interesting. You can sue for defamation and libel, but getting a TRO and all that gets expensive. Just like you made Lucian a mad boy. Well, Lucian's a little crybaby. I can't believe that he's the representative of anything, but whatever, it's not my problem. What's the difference between conspiracy theory and believable truth? About 6 weeks, touche. And let me see. Jerry Falwell versus Larry Flint. Well, yeah, there's some stuff with Larry Flint and Werbel, because the person that was saying that Werbel was a patriot was like, he was murdered by Larry Flint. I'm not saying he wasn't. But we have a lot of really nasty folks in this milieu, right? And I think that there's a argument. I'm not saying conclusively, but I think that it is a valid thesis. Kind of like Operation Chaos against the Black community in Atlanta. Seriously. I mean, there's a lot of politicking going on behind the scenes. Yeah, nobody quits the CIA, ever. And hello, Forensics of Evil. So nice to see you. And sorry, guys, I'm just trying to catch up because this is moving really fast. What did Joker say? Tommy Muffins. Oh, I have no idea who you guys are talking about, so I am literally just going to stop looking at the chat. That way I don't get confused. Now, let's go ahead and take a peek at we're just going to focus on the article on the left. So, this is one of Thevis's old ladies, right? Mostly we're going to be focusing on the attorney. So, here we go. Ex-fiance fears for Thevis's life. Yeah, I bet. So that's the hoe that was in the first picture that I showed you guys the first time we talked about Thevis, okay? Patricia McLean. Anyways, so, and then Laverne Bowden, remember we read that everything was changed to Laverne Bowden after he went to jail. That was his former secretary. And so the companies were then running under Laverne Bowden because I'm having a fantastic time using an Excel spreadsheet to put all of this together. It's a real hellscape. But, anyways, Garland, whose law firm also represents Global Industries, which is one of Thevis's companies, another Thevis holding company, that was charged in a indictment, maintains that his clients have a right to any lawyer that they want. And then they mention Mr. Warren Schulman, the CIA guy, and a former Thevis lawyer before a grand jury. Schulman has divulged confidential information to the prosecution, Cook charged. I would love to know what he divulged. Yeah, because that dude's got major connections. What are they? Who knows? But he's a spook, so we know that he does. Okay, that's just a fact. Now, I'm going to show you guys the article that was kind of the crux of me looking into these lawyers. It's not long, it's from UPI, it's from their archives. And I've highlighted what we need to look at. Let me just move the tab really quick because then I'm going to show you how I figured out that Thevis, his lawyers were actually working for Wayne Williams. They paint it one way, and it's just simply not the truth. It's simply not the truth, and it's really unfortunate. But this is a major connection that I have not heard of. Granted, I'm not reading people's blogs. Okay, I don't do that. That's not how I roll. So maybe other people have talked about this, but I have not heard this anywhere. I have not seen this anywhere. I think that this is completely bananas because it's and Program to Chill because like his series about this in particular, like comparing, the FBI versus PTK. I told you guys, like, I put it in one of the links for one of my episodes. Like, that was really like the inspiration for kind of coming at this really hard in the way that I am. But he talks about how the lawyers told Wayne Williams to act erratic on the stand, to be aggressive. If these people were also working for Thevis, think that there was a reason for that? I don't know. I don't have those answers. I just think that it's something for people to consider. Okay. So this is from October 16th, 1981. Hopefully you guys can see that because it is frozen on my side. But at least 2 more Atlanta attorneys have been asked to join the defense team of Wayne B. Williams, the man charged in 2 of 28 slayings of young Atlanta blacks. Attorneys Robert Fierer and Ed Garland, who we just saw, Mr. Garland, were added Thursday to the list of people allowed to visit Williams in his Fulton County jail cell. I have been asked to join the defense and am looking into the various problems associated with being involved. Yeah, I bet, said Fierer, who gained national notoriety recently by representing Hustler magazine publisher Larry Flint against pornography charges. Isn't that fascinating? And Tony Axum approached him about working for Williams and that he in turn recommended Garland as another potential aide. Okay, well, Garland, whose previous clients include well-known Boston lawyer F. Lee Bailey and pornography concerns owned by convicted racketeer Mike Thevis, could not be reached for comment. Okay, noted. All right, so that's that. They kind of paint that as like, well, maybe. Maybe we're going to do it. Maybe we're not, right? but Mr. Garland pulls a little sneaky sneak, probably because of his connections with Thevis. Who do we get? And the article, the way that I had to set this up, guys, because I have to like adjust these and realign them and all that, because the newspaper archives are super ghetto sometimes. He gets Miss Wild Mary. So here we go. Mary Welcome, the attorney defending Wayne Williams on a murder charge in the Atlanta Slangs case, made her name not as a defense lawyer, but as a hard charging city solicitor who closed down the massage parlors that once populated the city's downtown. Miss Welcome, nicknamed Wild Mary by opponents in her anti smut campaign 5 years ago, took over the 23-year-old Williams case before he was charged with murder Sunday and the death of Nathaniel Cater, the latest in a series of 28 slayings of young blacks. She is creative, talented, and brave, said Atlanta attorney Ed Garland, whose firm hired Miss Welcome in 1978 after she resigned as Atlanta's first city solicitor. Miss Welcome could not be reached to comment on how she came to represent Williams. Okay. But another observer speculated that since Williams was familiar with police operations and public figures in the city, he would have known about her. Yep, I wouldn't disagree. Now, I think it's interesting that she's called Wild Mary for getting all this like weird smut stuff taken down, right? But recently, her cases have included defending an Atlanta police vice squad officer on charges he solicited sex from a go go dancer in return for having charges against her dropped. So, there you go. Wild Mary. Now you've seen it for yourself. Part of the Axum defense team, part of Garland, right? Powerhouse. A real powerhouse, yeah? But that's Thieves's lawyers. That's Thieves's lawyers, straight up. That's completely insane to me. That's completely insane to me that that's not somehow like a conflict of interest, especially because Thieves was bringing Gemini to Apogee. Unless you already know what I'm thinking. Well, let me look at the chat. Hello, Pootie Twang. Hello, and hi, Fire Pixie. Late but made it. No worries, Annie Kurtz. Hello, Margaret Walter. And sometimes they use people for scapegoats. See if they have a death certificate. Any public relation companies working with the back channels as well. Forensics. Are you talking about him? Are you talking about Thieves? Are you talking about PR companies in that way? Yeah, Mary was wild. Yeah, I mean, she might have been wild. She might have been wild. She might have been, I mean, she's probably wild for the devil. You know what I mean? Just my opinion, though. Because if you're asking if there's any PR companies on the back end, I'll show you guys one really weird company really quick. I won't read into it a lot. Hello, Steve Sippos. I'm going to show you guys part of my hypothesis at this point, and it is just a hypothesis before we move forward, since someone brought it up in regards to how they were able to cloak themselves, because I have a feeling I'm going to have a really hard time until I get that stuff from the university in Canada. I have a feeling that I'm going to have a really hard time, because if I don't have the flyers in my hands or the magazines in my hands and I don't see where they're coming from, you know, but I'm going to show you guys one little article about a case against Thieves and his business partners, because once I show you guys way down the road the Excel sheet and you see all of these names, you're going to understand where I got this from. Because in the newspapers, they paint them as separate indictments. The people are being indicted completely separate. The cases are completely separate. That's not true. All of these people work under Thieves's umbrella. So I'm going to show you guys one of these really weird companies that they have, and this originates out of Alabama, but I'm going to show you guys how I was able to figure out that this is tied into Thieves as well. Okay, so this is the Atlanta Journal, 1978. So, right there, talking about the Fulton County Criminal Court in regards to the licenses for the Ponce de Leon adult bookmark, the business license for which is held by a firm once linked to convicted Atlanta pornographer Mike Thieves. The city official, Ms. Kay Roberts, said the business license listed Robert Mitchum and Gerald Mathis linked to Thieves as president and secretary treasurer of the firm. Mitchum, however, died last year. So this is one of the businesses, Mobile Bookmart. Says it still exists today, which is real crazy to me. Business clarification, operate bookstores, etc. Okay, it's pretty vague, but that's what it says here as well. So this is mobile, literally, literally, which is why it says mobile in the name. So they can run around and do what they need to do, and I am most certain that that offers them, a level of protection anyway, some sort of level of protection and all of that. I don't really know. It's This is one of those cases where it's a shell company on top of a shell company on top of a shell company on top of a shell company. It's going to take me forever. It's literally going to take me forever. Um, Now, I don't remember what I said I was going to show you guys, but all right, so we've already talked about the attorneys going on to Wayne Williams' defense team. So now let's go ahead and let's talk about the process a little bit, right? So, and I've shown you guys some of this stuff before, but this is technically all I have to go on right now. But when you go back, you find new things, and that's beautiful, right? So, I went back to the first article that I found about the process in Atlanta. And the woman that is named as setting up their volunteer projects is a gal named Shirley Nowacki. This chick does not exist. She does a little bit, but she's going back and forth to other countries a lot. So I think that I might have discovered a very interesting young lady. I have only been able to find one photo of her, and I know that it's her. Um, but I'm not going to sit here and show like the full deep dive of her on these ship manifests because I'm tracking her down. Because can't find her family, can't find her, nothing. She completely disappears. But I'm going to at least show you what I have found. That way you guys can see it. And then I'm going to show you guys the process. Some of the founding members literally being on Peachtree Street themselves, or Peachtree Avenue, whatever. You guys are going to see it. All right, so this is all in Georgia. So that's her. The Process Church of the Final Judgment has selected a volunteer coordinator for community service work in Atlanta. So they chose her, according to the papers. Yeah. So Shirley Nowacki of 847 Briarcliff Terrace Northeast is setting up 2 volunteer projects. One will be a series of regular volunteer visits to hospitals and nursing homes, and the other, the establishment of a free store and kitchen to help needy transients and families. And there is the little Tatiana for the devil herself. I cannot find her, but I will. I will. I'll come back. And right here, they are hunting disciples. Yeah, so 6 visit here. Blah, 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 blah. We've read a lot of this. It's fine. And here we are, 1974. Sister Bernadette setting up the church's ministry in Atlanta. I really wish that there was a way to pull up that phone number and see what address it was listed to in March of 1974. I would give up, well, at this point, I'd probably give up a finger for that, but I digress. Now, right here, it says the church southern headquarters is located in New Orleans, but Sister Bernadette comes to Atlanta regularly and works with volunteers in a street ministry and hospital visitation. Okay. All right. Now, let's go to the next one. And oh, wait, this one, yeah, you guys got to see this. This is a reminder for everybody. So, this is the Foundation Faith of the Millennium. This is their registration in Florida. Do you see all those names? This is legal documents. Do you see the names? Father Joel, Father Joab, Father Cyrus, Father Dominic, Father Jeremiah. I get that Florida's ghetto, but this ain't the only state that they did this in. Okay? So I just like to remind people when they want to demand actionable evidence. Is this actionable? Especially when the church had multiple names? Like the church members, the leaders, they had a phase. It was really fun for 2 years where they were rotating between 2, 3, and 4 names. Get back to me on that. Maybe people would have a better grasp of some of these things if Lucy and Greaves and Mr. Zeman weren't so shady about the entire thing, but I digress. That is my opinion, and I am allowed to state it. Now, I am going to show you guys because I was very excited. This is a picture I have never seen of Christopher DePire. I'm going to, because, oh my God. I got to show you guys. I'm going to show you 3 founders. He is registered to a P.O. box. He is in Fulton County, though. He does list Atlanta. But 3 finders in Georgia. One of them, her file is like 25 pages long. It took me forever to compile everything and get it together. But on his, there was a new picture I had never seen. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have a new photo. That's awesome. But they're in Atlanta. They're in Georgia. Yeah. And then I'm going to show you guys the reminder of all of their really weird ads in Georgia. All of their extremely weird ads. Because I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to look and see on the map where Sister Bernadette is offering her weird healing out in the middle of BFE every single month, sometimes multiple times a month. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can track it down. But let's go ahead and let's take a peek at Mr. DePire. And I think, was it him or was it might be the other. Hold on. Let's just get through this first. So here we are. Petition for naturalization, right? There we go. It's amazing in Ancestry when you click to the left or the right, you get more pages. I had never seen these before. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to find? Yeah. So that's him, Christopher DePire. Whatever. Next. But look, that's a new picture. Oh my God. So that is Christopher DePire, aka Father Raphael Lucius Nestor. That is the one. Remember my old white whale? This is my old white whale. This man is a demon. This man is wicked. He is wicked. But, oh, I was so happy to find that. You guys have no idea. I was like, oh my God. All right, now let me show you the other founders. Because I've got Fripp here. Let me see if I can move this stupid thing because it's not going to move, is it? Yeah, move for me. Thank you. It's not going to move, is it? I'm afraid I'm going to click out of. I hate this PDF thing. I need to give it up. I need to give it up. I am too. I'm not fancy enough. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys. I really want to show you guys these, though. And no, we're not going to sit here and read every single page. Absolutely not. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. All right, so let's start with Charity, since hers is like, whatever, the longest. I just want to show you guys, though. We're going to scroll through real fast, so buckle up. If you get dizzy, look away. Just look away. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I understand that that says Texas, right? Georgia. Transfer from Atlanta, Isabel Ann Nasser. So this is Isabel Rennie, aka Isabel Ann Nasser, aka Charity Rennie, aka Mother Ophelia Ria Benedicte, aka Charity Benedicte. This is the one that on her obituary on the Best Friends website, Julie Castle is talking about Charity doing a little psychic voodoo nonsense at the what is it? It's one of their weird events that they have, and it rhymes. The name of it rhymes. I can't think of the charity event. But anyways, I've shown it before, but this is her. Yeah? But look at that. Peachtree Road. That's kind of interesting. I think that's kind of interesting. That's a founding member. That's a founding member. So here we go. Moving on. This is the longest petition that I've ever seen, but these pages had never seen them before. Very excited. Very, very, very excited. Yeah. And of course, most of them say separated because they were all doing that whole communal whatever, sleeping with each other, swapping it around. Yeah, transfer from Atlanta, transfer to Atlanta. Here we go. Now we're back in Texas, Isabel and Nasser. There we go. Da 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 da. We're gonna keep scrolling. Look away if you get dizzy. Now we're back in Texas. Oh, and just so everybody knows, I have uploaded these into my Wayback Machine. So if you'd like a copy for yourself, they're up there for you to download. Okay? That's why I don't feel bad about scrolling through this quickly. Because I consider this part of the public record. Okay? I think that people have a right to have them, and people have a right to know. And I have zero problem spending time putting this stuff together. Quite frankly, I live for it. And we're going to keep going. That way you can see her picture as well because she also has dead eyes. Yeah. And look at how long it is. I mean, holy guacamole. There we go again. Where's the one with the picture? Come on, baby. Bada boom. Bada boom. There she is. There she is. Okay. So now you guys have seen her. I feel like I should pull up who she is. I think I need to pull it up. Give me a second. I didn't think about it, but now I'm thinking about it. And for the people that don't know, let me pull her up really quick. Hold, please. It'll only take me a second. That way you guys know. Because she's literally in one of the earliest publications of the Process magazine. She's a founding member. She was super fun to identify. And her last name, Nasser, like Sammy Nasser. Yeah, that's who I think was her old man at one point. At one point. I could be wrong, but it doesn't really make sense to me. Let me find her slide really quick, though, because I've got her put together. She is also pinned on my Twitter. Yeah, there she is. You guys are just going to have to look at it as is, but at least you guys can see that she did indeed end up at Best Friends because she did. And we can thank Julie Castle for her extremely sus obituary. Because Julie loves to brag. So that's her. And there we go. Lucifer's advocate, Isabel Rennie, aka Mother Rhea, Mother Ophelia. There she is, Council of Luminaries, at the Foundation Church of the Millennium Shrine on East 38th Street. And there is her LinkedIn. Yeah. So that's her. And right there. Charity even extended her psychic gifts to the best friend's lint roller party. She was always game for anything. I bet. I bet she was. But I'll shut up about that. Now, let's go ahead and look at Fripp, because I found Fripp too. Even though Fripp didn't give a photo, let's go ahead and take a peek, because wouldn't you know it, I think that him and Charity might have been, you know what I'm saying? Can't prove it, but just saying, very, very similar. So here we go, and we are rolling. We are rolling. And if you get dizzy, look away while I puff on a smoke. John Christopher Alfred Fripp. John Christopher. Look, divorce, separated, It's because they're all banging each other. Because they're all banging each other. There are plenty of stories out there from their children. Trust me, they were not good parents. They were terrible parents. Christopher Alfred Fripp. Christopher Alfred Fripp. There he is. See, that's it. All that is in my Wayback Machine. So you guys can go download the records for yourselves. Do with them what you wish. And let's go ahead and just look as a quick reminder. And I just put them all on one slide. Because quite frankly, I think it's a little more jarring this way. because they don't do this anywhere else. Anywhere else. I cross-check every single freaking way, 10 ways from Sunday to find these people. And in Georgia, this is the only place that they do this. Plus, I have all of their denials, right? Because people really didn't want them there, even though little Miss Shirley Nowaki, who I'm going to be hunting down, that little Tatiana, I mean, obviously she made something happen. So who does she know, right? She obviously knows somebody. But let's go ahead and just get a quick reminder of all her weird, not her, not Nowaki, but there's all their really weird ads, right? And all of their denials over here. Denial, denial, denial. Petition, denial. But over here is where it just, you know. But then at the end, this is what spooks me out. The very last one, all it says is come, call. Okay. All right. Whatever you say. No problem. Now, I do want to show you guys one thing. Yeah, I know the Moose Club stuff. I know I'm going to come back to it. Trust me. I want to show you guys here because I have not shown this before. I was very excited finding this new photo of them from Tampa, spreading the good word and attracting attention of passersby on the downtown streets of Tampa this week were two messengers, Brother Jethro and Sister Joan, members of the religious order The Process, Church of the Final Judgment. The organization was founded in 1960. Huh? 1960? That's a new date by Robert de Grimston, London, England. Chapters of The Process are located in Chicago, Boston, New Orleans, Miami, and a group is due to open facilities in New York City. The messengers distribute magazines and reading material to interested persons. The theme of their religious order is As you give, so shall you receive. The messengers left today for Fort Myers and will return to Miami before the New Year holiday. Huh. Yeah, that's sus. And for those, because I can never resist pointing it out, The Process put on The Grinch That Stole Christmas at the Dade County Youth Hall in 1972. Just so everybody knows. You know. And then British Process Movement started as a rap session. Shut up. This is their stupid little PR campaign. But that is Faith Maloney, aka Mother Hathor. God, I can't remember all the names anymore. And I've really got to figure out who else is in that picture. I recognize a couple of them. They're starting to stick out to me more and more. But there she is with someone named Samuel Hurwitch. Don't know who that is. But whatever. That's that. Oh, wait, down here. Nope, that's not the right slide. I got to show you guys the stuff with the snakes. Hold, please. I got to show you guys the stuff with the snakes. Where is it? Yep, there it is. Okay, so for the people out here involved in what some call the Process Church Cover Upper movement, obviously, yeah, these people have a lot of protection. It's a fair argument. But you guys have seen in Canada, they're being accused of selling dope, prostitution, all kinds of stuff, right? And hopefully the files that I am praying that I will get eventually, those will bear more fruit. However, I would like to show that these people were doing some weird stuff in Florida, which makes me think that they were doing some weird stuff in Georgia too. We're going to focus on one article. There we go. Right here. People and snakes draw complaints. A complaint to city police Thursday afternoon that a group of people wearing snakes about their necks were bothering shoppers at the Naples shopping center while soliciting funds. Police responding to the call said the group was gone upon their arrival. The police log recorded the incident and noted subjects are processians who wear snakes around their necks. The serpent is a symbol of their religion. So, who was today years old when they learned that the process was running around and actually wearing snakes? They were literally wearing snakes on their necks. Why are there no photos of that? Why are there no photos of that? Why have I not seen any photos of that? That seems really relevant to me. I would love to know. I would love to know. I really would. I really, really would. Uh, I just that's the only time that I've seen that. I really haven't been able to find anything else, and man, you know, if they were doing that in Florida, you gotta wonder if they were doing it in Georgia. But that's terrifying, and I used to have a pet snake. It's fine. But I didn't know that they were ever running around wearing freaking snakes around their necks. So, do you think that they should be allowed around the mentally handicapped and the elderly? What Lucian called a vast social program that he felt wasn't necessary to include in the public record? Yeah, I don't know. But I think that that's all I'm going to talk about for today because eventually I want to come back because when I was looking into the house that Dave McGowan referenced, it's sad but fascinating and an interesting correlation. There were kids that were mentally handicapped that were found dead in Atlanta that were not included in the list, which just seems like a big similarity to Willowbrook, right? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not telling people what to think. It's just food for thought, but I will be coming back to it. Hello, Welsh Republic. And hello, Art Taylor. Probably the cross they wore with a serpent superimposed on it. Well, I mean, but that says that they were wearing snakes. So if it was in New Orleans, yes, absolutely. If it was in New Orleans, wouldn't be real crazy. It wouldn't be very crazy at all. But like in Naples, like at a mall, that's a little bit crazy. That's a little bit weird. Let me see. I had to babysit a friend's snake and it reeked. Never again. Well, that's weird. Why did it smell? Maybe I don't want to know. Don't answer. Trying to attract the holy rollers. Yes, Steve Sippos. The tent circuit, the revival circuit. Absolutely. That whole like the Billy Graham stuff, the Jesus people, the children of God. I haven't forgotten about any of that. I haven't forgotten about any of it, guys. Not at all. But I gotta like tell everybody with love and deep respect, like, I'm not ignoring anybody. I appreciate the information that you're sending me. I'll get to it eventually. I'm on a path. I'm on a journey now. You guys have seen The Office, right? Where he's like he's on a journey now, an eternal journey, and I wish him well. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'll get to it eventually. But the Atlanta stuff, you guys can see that there's a lot to uncover. Because Virginia had called me yesterday and she was reading, and Virginia, correct me if I'm wrong if you're still in here. I think she was reading Vice Up. I think it was a Vice Up blog. And it was something that they had written, and they were referencing Love, Sex, Fear, and Death and an excerpt from Timothy Wiley about Timothy Wiley and one of the process bands going into the Toronto Storm or Toronto Sound Studio. I don't know, whatever. Um, So I decided to look that up to verify it, to make sure that it was cited correctly, all of that. But right around the time of the stuff with Thievis's studios, that studio is also getting in a lot of trouble. And that studio, it was cited as like one of 4 in the world that had some type of super fancy equipment called the Dream Machine. Not the same Dream Machine, not that one, but some kind of fancy audio equipment. So I have a feeling that there's a lot of layers to unpeel, but I want to do that so that we can make the connections that we need to make. Because I'm not in a rush. I'll get to things when I get to things, but just be patient. And as I say, with love, it's not a DJ booth. I don't take requests. Uh, I'm only one person. I can only do so much, but I'm also not going to poke the bear as far as the Satanists because, like I said, I know that Virginia's working on with Greaves's timeline, and I'll be ready to take him back out for a lashing, a public lashing at that time. Hello, not Chiquita. And if I started a hoodoo tent show revival, who's coming? No, I'm good on that. I'll pass. I'll stand outside of the tent. Perhaps the processed church studied the rattlesnake venom drinkers too, quite possibly. Let me see. They're obsessed intelligence with studying the mechanics, they call it, of the holy rollers. Yep, Vice up quoting Wiley. Thank you, Virginia. I just wanted to double check on that. Let me see. Not the Burroughs one. Yeah, no, it's not the Burroughs one. I'll show you guys because I found it's referenced in a couple really old Billboard magazines, but it's called the Dream Machine. Because I was like, the Dream Machine? What is that? That's them staring at lights with your eyes closed and seeing little like whatever. What is it? The little elves. I was like, you're giving them absinthe. And some people said, no, like you really see little green things. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say. Anyways, there needs to be a lot of timeline comparisons to see how these groups and individuals interacted with each other. Yeah, absolutely, forensics. That's what I'm trying to like lay out here. That's what Virginia's working on. That way we can see how everyone's moving because then it's going to make sense. Why are certain things left out by certain people? We can make some arguments there. And just like with the Holy Roller movement, the tent revival, think People's Temple, right? Think like William Branham, that kind of stuff. Children of God, processing their Jesus freak phase, right? Billy Graham. Because I'm going to find where Thieves gave a whole bunch of money to Billy Graham. I'm going to find that because they put that in the paper for a reason. Because these people are narcissists and they cannot resist bragging, period. We always will have that going for us. You can sue for libel in California. Two kinds of defamation, written or slander. Defamation refers to both. Well, I have no comment about anything in California, but I think that you guys know why. So I'm just going to shut the hell up. These interweaving behaviors are related, but sometimes in the oddest of ways. That is very true. I have a dream machine I built, and I must say it doesn't do much at all. Yeah, I dropped the link in the video where it tells you how to make one for $50 in case if anybody wants to. My dad had one of those subliminal learning visors. Is that what you're talking about? I don't know. I don't know if it's the same thing. I'm not entirely sure. I prefer to stay in reality as much as possible. I'm out here raw dogging reality, one might say. I try to stay where I'm at, you know what I mean? Let me see. Look at the lawyers. Of course. Yep, that's what I'm doing, forensics. Like I said, they did pretty good at hiding that Thieves' lawyers were literally the lawyers for Wayne Williams. They hid that pretty good, didn't they? I found the court records though. And of course, it's so long. It's so long. So that'll be in my downtime, I guess, reading through that. That way I can see just who said what. Just who said what. Cuz yeah, Thieves has a lot of legal connections. Cuz don't forget about Ronald Tennant, right? The scumbag that owned the daycare that we talked about last time. Yeah. I think SOS might have been the opening act for Atlanta. No, Steve Sippos, I don't disagree at all. I do not disagree at all. I think that it was not only that, but I think it was the starting distraction for Iran Contra. That's just my personal opinion. I think that it's like the early PR sort of distraction from Iran Contra. I was a DJ that didn't take requests. I'd leave a piece of paper for people to write down their request on and then just ignore it that whole night. Well, like I said, I'm not trying to be a jerk, guys. It's just people send me a lot. I'm only one person. And when I get on something, I got to hunt it out and I can't get distracted. So sometimes I just got to ignore everybody. Sometimes I literally just like turn my phone off and I'm like, I'm just going to raw dog it literally every way. You know what I mean? And let me see, even then. All right. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. So we're going to end it here. We're going to end here for now. I'm going to be looking into Crispo being dead because I didn't know that. So thank you, Soil Lodge. Hopefully I've given you guys some stuff to chew on. I think it's very interesting that Thieves' lawyers were on Wayne Williams' defense team. And I think it's very interesting that I showed that they completely ignored that house in Georgia with the Bibles nailed to the wall. I think that that's insane. And I think that it's a real shame. Because you like watch true crime, you watch documentaries, And to an extent, I've had only a couple cases in the hospital in the ICU where someone should have been brought in much sooner, but there's a distinct smell. So if they said that they smelled something and they know what it smells like, shame on those cops for not looking into that. Seriously, I think it's a complete shame. And again, I don't hate the police. I think that the police are important. I think that this whole situation, a lot of corruption, a lot of corruption. But I do think that it stems from New York and the Son of Sam. I do. It's just my opinion. And California and Manson, you know. But this is, like I said, my adoption of Dave McGowan's thesis of domestic gladio, American gladio. It's just unfortunate that this seems like a specific campaign to wage terror on the Black people of Atlanta. But we will be getting back to it soon, guys. So stay safe. Bye.